we are having a very inspirational morning today with Dr. Dina Sadiq, who is in the studio right now. If you just tuned in, well, don't worry. All of our segments will be uploaded on our YouTube channel very soon, so you can check us out there. Well, my name is Anupama. If you just tuned in, if you were with us from the beginning of the show, we actually stopped where we were speaking about motivating women and how women should accept themselves and respect themselves in order to gain acceptance and respect from other people. So now, Dr. D, I like calling you that. The interesting thing that struck my mind when you were speaking about women and how to empower them is that now women come from all sorts of age groups. You work with so many people from different age groups. Now, I would like to know how you related the 4D concept of having self-love, self-acceptance, and then moving into your outer relationships with the youth. Now, you were speaking about working with a cricket team who ranged from 12 years to 14 years. So I'm sure that was a very unforgettable experience in your life. So how does the 4D method, how can it relate to the youth, and what can the youth learn from it actually?
Well, I guess the primary question is how we can apply to career guidance for them.
Okay.
Because many of the youth end up doing degrees that either they are doing it due to parental pressure.
They're actually not interested in it.
They're not interested in it, right?
Yeah.
Or they're doing it because of peer pressure,
Right.
one of the two.
Right.
So I think the 4D model really makes a difference, because once they've decided to find their passion, it's actually better to take some time off after your A-levels, or maybe between your O-level and A-level, and try to figure out what you want to do. What I do advise students is that they have to try to work on getting an internship, you know, in a related field.
Right, okay.
And to give you a quick example of a real life story of this particular field, this was a real story that was published in the Reader's Digest of a Pakistani boy who couldn't make up his mind if he wanted to be a lawyer or a doctor, right? So at that point he was in his teens, and he was suggested to do an internship for 1 month in a law firm and in a medical ward. So this guy is like really excited. He's just around 18, 19, you know, after A-levels, and you are just hyped up. You want to figure out what you want to do. So he spends 1 month in the hospital, and he didn't really enjoy it. You know, the disease and the fact that he had to deal with death, it didn't really impress him all that much.
Okay.
So he kind of didn't like it anyways, and then he started to work in the law firm. Now, in the law firm, it was a whole different ball game.
Yeah, it's completely opposite.
It's completely different, yeah. I mean, everything is so organized, and it was spick and span, it was neat, it was professional, and he liked it, you know. So at the end of this 1 month, he's made up his mind. He's like, oh, I'm totally going to be in the law firm. And he's on his way home after this whole experience is over. And he was on his way home. He was in Karachi, and the traffic jam is crazy. Trust me. If we think Colombo is crazy, go to Karachi.
No, I've seen something similar in Delhi, so I can completely understand what you mean by that.
Yeah, so he was stuck in the traffic jam of Karachi, and just like me back then when I noticed the camels, he was wondering what's going on. So then he notices a poor lady has been run over by a truck, and she's struggling on the streets, and no one's helping her.
Okay.
Everyone's just standing and watching.
What?
Yes, which is something not that uncommon in our part of the world, where people don't want to get involved because there's
true.
legal matters and stuff.
Sometimes.
So this guy, being someone who didn't think too far, young, he thought, oh my gosh, you know, her life is at stake. So he just rushes to her, he carries her, brings her into the taxi that he was in, rushes her to the hospital, and then literally was part of saving her life. You know, he was there until the surgery was done, and after it was all over, his the patient's family was thanking him, saying, you know, if it wasn't for you, you know, she wouldn't be alive right now.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And that really touched him, because he had the experience of knowing what it's like to make a difference at a place of life or death. So at that point, regardless of the experience that he had at the 2 internships, that made him realize that's what he wanted to be for the rest of his life. And in fact, this article was written by himself today as a surgeon, and he's, you know, really enjoying what he does, because that's the passion that he found at an early age. So what I tell the youth is that, you know, they shouldn't just rush into going into degrees without really knowing what it's all about, because it's one thing to hear about it and watch it on movies. A lot of people end up doing different degrees because of certain soaps and because of certain movies.
True.
You know, you need to get the reality of it. So they have to spend some time. So the 4D applies to them because they can get some kind of perspective, some kind of clarity in how important it is for them to figure out what they're passionate about. at an early age without rushing into degrees. Because what happens is, Anupama, you rush into degrees and your parents are spending so much, literally millions, and then even though you know it's not your thing, it feels like it's too late because you've gone so far, and so many arrangements have been made, and then end up wasting another 3 to 4 years finishing it, and all of that is happening in misery because that's not what they're truly passionate about. So that's the primary message as far as applying the 4D to the youth are concerned.
That's amazing. So you basically, something that struck me during your answer was that you can basically figure out what your passion is at a very unexpected time.
Yes.
And you can figure out what your calling is in a very unexpected way. I mean, something very similar happened to me when it comes to calling, but I will not go into that right now. But interesting that you said that they should actually take some time off to think about what they're going to do in their future before they actually get into it. But true, they have to deal with peer pressure and parental pressure sometimes, but it all becomes, an individual thing in the end of the day. So, yeah, I really agree with what you said. So, let's talk about, no, I'm sure that you have so many fans out there who would really like to know what you do and what you do further in life. I mean, what are your future plans during this year?
Well, I would like to, take the 4D model to as many people as possible, because so far, to be honest, I've got many people out there, an international base, who are familiar with it and who have so far been able to implement this and practice it. But as far as Sri Lanka is concerned, it's just a ripple effect, it's just starting off, and I want to share this with as many people as possible in the corporate sector, the education sector, and so forth. So that would be like the primary focus, and also to be able to write about it, because I've written quite a wide range of subjects on different kinds of genres. So I would like to take it to a different level of being able to get the message out to as many people as possible.
That's amazing. You have written so many things. I mean, just jumping back to the whole segment of writing, you have written so many different things from different areas of categories and different areas of life. What is your favorite area of writing? As in, what do you really like writing about? Is it poetry? Is it songs? Or is it something that motivates other people?
It's definitely motivational.
All right.
Self-help, where you can get over adversities and somehow find that strength within you to get over any challenge. Because when I took this entire research online, what I realized is that people have been through so much. Sometimes we are complaining about not being able to go out, or about such trivial matters. Even if you take the youth, sometimes they're complaining because they don't have the latest phone or the latest gadgets. But there's more to life than having an updated version of the latest equipment around you. So it would definitely be about self-help, because when you can understand that people have been through so much and yet achieved so much in life, it changes you. It truly does. And you're also interested in telling people how to have a well-balanced life. You were speaking to me before. So in the future, hopefully we can see your name under the motivational speakers category or the motivational books genre in a bookshelf somewhere. Hopefully. Are you actually planning to write a book very soon? Yes, actually I'm in the process of writing it.
Okay.
It would be a combination of self-help, motivation, and maybe a little bit about my experiences in Pakistan as well.
That's really amazing. But Pakistan has changed its girl. But that's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Yes.
I actually can relate to that a bit as well. Okay, so why don't you tell the viewers out there? I'm sure you mentioned to me before that you have a Facebook fan page, and that it actually encourages people to connect to you, as well as you actually give really good messages out there. So why don't you tell the viewers how they can contact you?
Yeah, the fan page, it goes as my name, and they can connect through Facebook and also through Twitter. Yeah, but I would say Facebook is more of an active forum, because you have people who come and share their views and experiences, and they communicate with each other, and it has grown organically. It's not like I so far advertise as such. It's just grown organically, and today it has reached around 5,900.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. I'm sure people find really interesting readings in your fan pages. Well, I'm going to check it out tonight. It's been such a pleasure having you here, Dina, really, and to know the fact that you have touched so many areas of life that you have practical experiences about, and you have studied in a place where there's so much of colors in life, and you have tasted it before you actually gave it out, which is much more important than doing something theoretical and putting it out to the world. So thank you so much for being here. I've had a really nice time with you. I hope you did too.
I did, and I just have one message
Yes.
before I leave, and that is to never give up. Because when giving up is not a choice, neither is failure.
Wow.
Because until and unless you decide that you're not going to give up until you truly succeed, then you're not going to fail. Because every time you fail and you learn something from it, it's going to mature you further to be able to handle it even more.
And it'll be
because
one step towards
yes,
the
a lot
other
of
tree.
people think it's just black and white, you win or you lose. It's not the case, because if you study the people who have really succeeded,
Yeah.
you'll notice that they have had more failures, and every step of the way they learned something more and applied it the next time and the next time and the next time, and they kept going, and that's what refined them to becoming today's world role models and leaders.
Of course,
So the message to everyone out there, be it youth, the corporate sector, women, working, non-women, whoever you are, I would say that never
Don't
give
give
up. And find your passion
Yeah.
and go for it, because sky's the limit, or should I say it's not, considering there are footsteps on the moon.
Exactly like we were talking about before. All right, so all you people out there, thank you so much for joining us. I'm sure you had a very inspirational morning with Dina Sadiq, also known as Dr. D. Have a very blessed day, and I hope that you will tune into us tomorrow, same time as well. Bye-bye.